Basic Appraisal Procedures, page 198. Typical building code deficiencies. Plumbing. Just as with electrical service, plumbing should be inspected by a home inspector or plumbing contractor to ensure there are no major problems. Again, an appraiser is not a home inspector, and as such, generally may not have the expertise to identify any plumbing code deficiencies. In a typical appraisal, the appraiser may reference the fact that plumbing has been replaced or a new kitchen or bath installed if it warrants an adjustment in value for the subject property. An appraiser should note the presence of lead pipes if recognized. Otherwise, specific observations about a house's plumbing service will most likely be left to a home inspector. Here are some common instances where existing residential plumbing components and methods can be deficient with building codes. 1. Drain traps. Older style S-traps have been replaced in most building codes with P-traps. The purpose of a trap is to keep some water in the elbow so fumes or gases from the sewer are not allowed to escape back into the drain. P-traps have been determined to be better at stopping the backflow of gases and fumes. In an S-trap, the water seal can be broken more easily. When the water in the S-trap emits a gurgling sound, this is a sign that the water seal has been broken and has allowed a small amount of sewer gas to escape back up through the drain opening of the sink. 2. Outdated pipe materials. Most jurisdictions allow for several types of piping materials, including copper and plastic components such as PVC, CPVC, and PB. Copper is an ideal material for water lines and generally considered to be superior. Some flexible piping systems have also been recently introduced. Plastic may be easier to work with than copper because it can be glued rather than soldered. However, not all jurisdictions allow plastic piping to be used for drinking water supply. Older houses may have water lines made from iron, steel, or other galvanized materials, or even lead. Lead pipes are extremely hazardous to health since they can contaminate drinking water and should be replaced immediately. Other types of metal pipes other than copper are susceptible to corrosion, mineral deposits, and deterioration. Although not an immediate threat, they can lead to low water pressure, leaks, and breaks. Other building code deficiencies. There are numerous other types of building code deficiencies that may be found in houses, particularly older ones. We've only discussed electrical and plumbing because these, along with heating, are the most important systems in the house and often the most urgently in need of repair and attention. But as long as the systems are functioning properly and meet the code of their day, building standard S-trap from the sink, elbow to sewer. Standard P-trap from sink, elbow to sewer. Standard drain traps. Important points. States have minimum building standards, but local governments may be stricter. The International Code Council, ICC, is working to bring national standardization to building codes. Commercial buildings are required to comply with requirements of accessibility under the Americans with Disabilities Act, ADA. An appraiser should always disclose and consider inadequacies or defects that can be reasonably recognized but should differ questionable conditions to the opinion of a professional. Page 199. Inspectors and other officials will rarely require replacement or repairs unless there is an immediate health risk or threat. Houses are rarely inspected by building officials to determine their code compliance. Therefore, it becomes necessary for homeowners or buyers to take steps to protect themselves. An appraiser should always disclose and consider obsolescence, inadequacies, and defects that can reasonably be recognized. Even in a newly constructed house, unsatisfactory conditions can be found. An appraiser would typically defer questionable conditions to the open opinion of a professional. Consumers would be wise to rely on a professional home inspection. 4. Styles, parts, and systems of houses. Different styles of roofs and different points about plumbing and electrical systems have been introduced. But there are many more areas covered by a home inspection. As an appraiser, it is important for you to be familiar with some of the other major components of a house. Being familiar with these components as well as different styles and types of houses is important for good communication. It is also helpful to have knowledge of some of the major mechanical systems of a house, what their purposes are, and how they function. Styles of houses. There are two basic ways to define a house: by the exterior style or by the functional layout of the house. When discussing the exterior style of a house, there are several basic architectural styles that are popular. They include American colonial, English Tudor, French provincial, Spanish villa, Cape Cod, traditional ranch, and modern contemporary. There are innumerable variations of these basic designs, as well as more traditional, plainer, and more modern styles. In addition to these basic architectural styles, there are functional layouts that also serve to describe a home. Generally, this functional definition is thought of in terms of the number of stories or levels that a house has. These include a one-story house, which can include traditional ranch style as well as many other variations. 1.5 story styles include a Cape Cod, New England saltbox, and craftsman style. The American colonial is usually a 2-story house. Other common layouts are split level, bi-level, and raised ranch. Again, there are myriad combinations of architectural styles and functional layouts. 1-story traditional ranch style, extra note. Home style examples: English Tudor, American colonial, Spanish villa, modern contemporary, Cape Cod, traditional ranch. Important points: houses can be defined